I'm Chip, and this is PitStop Delta on the Digital Grandstand. This time we're talking about the fourth round of the 2017 season and the first unofficial round of the European stretch, the Russian GP. Yes, even though Sochi and to an extent Russia as a whole is in Europe, the fact that the venue is still quite some way away from the team's HQs, the Russian GP is not considered part of the European stretch of the F1 calendar. Bit of a silly state of affairs, but here we are. With 3 rounds down on this 20-race calendar, the pecking order is, pretty obvious. But more importantly, the strengths and weaknesses of the teams are also out there in the open. Let's see, we have Mercedes and Ferrari right at the top, with Mercedes clearly in the lead in qualifying, but Ferrari edging away in race stream mode. Behind them, there's Red Bull Racing in a class of its own. The midfield is as tightly packed and competitive as we've seen in ages. All 10 cars of Williams, Force India, Toro Rosso, Renault and Haas are all viable contenders for a spot in the top 10. Even though a top 3 position in the Constructors' Championship is quite far-fetched, Williams proved both in 2014 and 2015 that it is possible. This battle is just the right complementary addition to the title fight at the front of the field. Then, of course, it's the bloody backmarkers and the battle for fucking 9th in the championship. Sauber and McLaren. This is the only battle I'm not looking forward to watch. Apart from Alonso's talent in full display at the wheel of a shit car and his quips on the radio, there's nothing to highlight here, really. So, the top 10 at the end of the race. Esteban Ocon, 10th place. Keep those scoring places coming. Sergio Perez in 9th. Same thing, really. Carlos Sainz Jr., 8th place, despite the grid penalty that he received after his collision with Stroll in Bahrain. I expect him to get up there. He enjoys this track, so watch out for him. 7th place, Felipe Massa. Enjoying retirement, Felipe baby? Max Verstappen in 6th. Sochi is not the best track for young Max. If he can stay out of trouble and keep the midfield teams behind, it would be a positive weekend for him. 5th place, Daniel Ricciardo. This is the best finishing position for Red Bull at this stage, really. Which is a shame. Kimi Raikkonen in 4th place. Is it too much to ask for a podium, Kimi? Pretty please? Now, predicting the top 3, Valtteri Bottas. Let's be frank, after Bahrain, he is a number 2 driver at Mercedes, and Hamilton and Vettel are in a different league, so 3rd it is. 2nd place, Sebastian Vettel, for reasons I'll explain in a minute. And the winner, Lewis Hamilton. Vettel last time round, now it's Hamilton's turn. And so on and so forth until the end of time, or the end of the season. I'm fine with both scenarios. Now, before we go, let's talk a little bit about the main battle, Ferrari versus Mercedes. Each team has very strong points and departments where they struggle relatively to each other. That and a very clear number 1 and number 2 drivers. Mercedes holds the 1-lap pace advantage thanks to the ultra quali mode of the power unit, which when paired with Hamilton's insane craft, it's a deadly combination. Only some sort of mistake or failure can make Hamilton lose pole at this point of the season, like he did in China. One other thing that Mercedes does brilliantly is the way the car brings the tires up to temperature. Again, hugely important because they can go full-on attack in both quali and the race start. The downside of this, they can't stretch the stint lengths like the red cars. And speaking of Ferrari, they count on adaptability. The car works equally well on all types of tires. They don't overheat them and as a result can stretch the stint lengths as they please. Short, super fast stint or going longer, the Ferraris can choose either way. The car is more nimble through slow and medium quick corners, with the Mercs better suited for fast corners. All in all, Mercedes is untouchable at a track that doesn't punish tires, the track surface is quite cool, and where a good engine makes a difference. Basically, one-stop races are right on Mercedes Street, and Sochi ticks all of these boxes. So far this season, Ferrari gambled on going longer than the Mercedes, like in Australia, or by going for the undercut, with a super aggressive first stint, a very early stop, and then managing the race from the front. It almost worked in China, but the safety car threw things around, and it worked to great effect in Bahrain. Of course, all of this Ferrari strategy is a direct consequence of the Mercs going flawlessly in qualifying. Yes, Vettel managed to get in between them at 2 races so far this season, and then used the undercut to get ahead of the racer on pole. Well, the undercut and some very good getaways off the line. He can try this sort of strategy again in Russia, and he will. But should we have an all-Mercedes front row after quali, Vettel won't be able to undercut both with only one pit stop expected on Sunday. So yeah, those are my predictions for Russian GP 2017. What do you expect from this race? Let me know in the comments below, or come and chat to me on Twitter at chip_DGS. Don't forget to like, share, and check back soon for more F1 related content. Or you can always subscribe. I've been Chip, and I'll see you next time on the Digital Grandstand.